Hello, everybody. This was a challenge today. Oh my goodness, we tried. This was like the fourth or fifth time that we're trying. We are sorry about today. We wanted to come to you guys at 3 o'clock. Then that didn't happen. We tried to come to you twice more, but we're on now. And hopefully you catch this on a replay because I know it's kind of late in the evening. But this is Tisha McDonald's Alternatives Beauty Studio.
This is Tanika Gillar. I am Naturally Yours. And we know that y'all are about to sit down and watch Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, but we wanted to come to you and talk to you about 10 mistakes that we've made in business. But how was your day? How was your day?
Very busy day. Just got back from Delaware, but we're good. It was a good ride. It was a good day.
Okay, it was a good day here too. Nothing much going on here, but just the connection issues. I don't know. I don't know.
All right. So let's get into it. And the first mistake major that I made was not having the right accountant. My accountant has been working with me since 14 years old, since my first job, opened up my first business in Queens. He did that for me, set it up. Then when I moved to Pennsylvania, he didn't know the Pennsylvania law, the tax laws and stuff. So I got caught up with my taxes. And even with the payroll, um, my staff, one of my staffers, she got caught with a tax bill at the end of the year because he did not do alternatives taxes properly. That has since been paid up and cleared up, but now I have a local accountant. That was one of my mistakes.
Okay, so what I was just now doing was sharing on my Facebook page, sharing the link that we are live. So hopefully everyone will see that Naturally Yours and Alternative Salon, the twinness is on live. I just sent that memo out. But yes, I had the same issue. I had an accountant here, local, and it was she knows the laws, and I still had the same problem. I ended up owing so much money back to the IRS. I have a new accountant, and she's the one who helped me clear that up pretty much. But it was a mess, and I'm thinking that the accountant was doing their job, and they really were not. And another thing, when you have an accountant, if you want to be a successful business, you have to make a profit. So what that accountant was doing was putting me in a deficit, and I never made a profit. And you don't want that, because then when it's time to buy a house or buy a car, they want to see that your business is profitable and not that you just breaking even or below making money. So you don't want to do that. So make sure that you find the right accountant that's for you. And also, because I have my daughter's business, Rainbows, that was an issue. So I had to try to figure out, how do I do both? Should I break them up? Should I keep them as one? And so I got different opinions on that. And could I put it underneath Naturally Yours as a sub business? So make sure that you get someone that's knowledgeable in your state about the taxes, and make sure that your paperwork and documentation is okay, because the last thing you want to do is get called in for something and be audited.
True indeed, true indeed. So the next thing is reading your lease, making sure that you have a lawyer read over your lease. So fortunately, my landlord is also my real estate attorney. So at each location that I had, he read over my lease. So you have to make sure that your lease is what you want it to be, because when I was at my third location, he did read my lease and he said, Tisha, you do not want to be in this lease for too long. And he was so right. I signed a 2-year lease and I was all too happy to get out of it, because in that, and I had to go there because the place that I was in was set on fire or whatever, and we had to move, and we were having molds at that location, and the landlord didn't want to clean that up. It was just a lot at one time, and I had to get out of there. And that landlord let me break my 5-year lease for 3 years, for a 3-year lease, because he wasn't going to do the cleaning that needed to be done. But then when I signed the new lease, my lawyer was like, "You do not want to be at this location too long, because I was paying like the property. It was a strip mall. It was a strip mall. So we were paying the property taxes, the school taxes. Anytime they came uh, to the cleanup for snow removal, that was on the business owners. Um, I started out at $1,000 a month, and then it just kept going up every month. Every month it was going up, little by little. So my attorney was very spot on. And once those 2 years, and I did complete the 2 years, I wasn't going to just leave. I completed the 2 years, and I was able to get a good recommendation from that landlord because I was also in school for funeral service. So I like to do things on an up and up in the right way. So make sure you read your leases. Make sure you have your attorney read your lease. And that was my second big mistake. Well, it wasn't a mistake on my part because I did the right thing. I had my attorney look at my lease.
So you're
But it
saying
could have
that
been
you need to have an
disastrous.
attorney. You could need to have a good attorney.
Yes.
The leases are not, I don't think, as stringent down here as they are up there. And we don't have the bad weather that y'all have down here like y'all have up there. So you have the snow crew and stuff like that. But I would take that as a good suggestion as well. Like I said, I had my own shop, and the only problem I had was that I was upstairs and I would take my daughter with me to work and he wouldn't get the elevator fixed. But other than that, I loved my space. It wasn't a problem at all. Even the lease was real easy and simple. And they just want you to make sure that you're going by the state rules when it comes to sanitation and things like that, keeping your licenses up when you're in their place, and they just want you to pay your rent. So it wasn't really bad down here for me when it came to having a space.
Yes. Also, with that, one more thing. Even with me now, I'm back to my first location, that's where my attorney is. It's his property. I don't pay for I don't pay for water. I don't pay for garbage removal. But at the other place that I was just mentioning, I had to pay for garbage removal. I had to pay for water. Of course, I pay for electricity. But so just make sure you have an attorney look over your lease.
But not only that, but that's just like when you live in an apartment or something, you want to know
Yes.
what's included in your
Yes.
rent or your lease. What can you do with the walls and stuff? Because I know where I was, we were able to paint the facility the way we wanted, if I wanted to put down flooring, but knowing that all of that stays in the building,
Yes.
like you don't get money back for that, or you don't get rent taken off because you feel like you're making improvements because it's what you want, not
You're
necessarily what
improving
the
there.
landlord. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
So give me two of yours on your list.
You have my list.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just keep going on with mine. I'll finish mine up first, I guess. Then also,
Yeah, we're just going.
you want to make sure that you clear everything with your state and your borough and your county. So of course, you have to have your state, like for here, you have to have your license to do even natural hair care. It's not a state where, oh, you do natural hair care, so you don't need a license. No, you still need your license so you need to know your state laws. But with the borough and the county, I've been in 3 locations out here, and each of them had something different to do. So where I am now, you can only use a flat sign. When I was on Main Street, you can use you could use a light box, but it couldn't be bright because they didn't want you to bother the traffic. And then when I was at my third location, they had a lit sign because it was a strip mall. So it was one of those big signs, and then they had another smaller sign, and you had to have both signs lit. It wasn't an option, it wasn't a choice. You had to have it there.
Renee just joined us. She said, hey.
I
So,
just
hey,
said,
Renee, thank you for rejoining us. We've been having
yes.
so many issues today. So thank you for rejoining us. Yes, here we don't have borough, of course. We have federal, state, and local taxes. And so we've got to be careful with that and
Not
making
the
sure that you
taxes.
what were you saying? The
I was talking
laws.
about, yeah, their
Okay.
requirements.
Okay, requirements. Yeah, all we have to have is our license, whether it's a natural license, cosmetology license, or barber license. We just have to make sure we have that and renew it every 2 years or 3 years, whenever it is. So you just got to keep up with that.
Okay. So we will go on to the next one. Um, Another mistake that I made was expanding too quickly. So my first location was a small location in the back. That's where I am now. Um, But after 3 years, my husband was like, you need to be on Main Street because I became so popular and I'm the only one still in my area that does natural hair care, that specializes in natural hair care. I'm still the only one that specializes in locks and lock repair and lock reattachment and all of this. Um, Various extensions. I'm still the only one in my area that specializes in that as well as taking care of the natural hair. So I blew up pretty quickly. So I went on to Main Street, which was a great location, but there were two salons side by side. Well, it wasn't two salons, it was two spaces side by side. So I was like, I don't want a neighbor. I'm going to take the second side. Now, I was doing pretty good with one location, but no, here I go. I don't want a neighbor. So there I go. Let me take both sides. So I made that the children's salon. And with that being said, I didn't have enough staff for the children's salon. It was me and Saja. We were the two full-time licensed cosmetologists. And then I had my assistants, Raheem and Angelia. So I'm like, okay, this is good. We could do this. But no, because my regular adult clients, I had to take care of them. And Saja had her adult clients. She needed to take care of them. So it was really no real oversight for the children's salon. It was a nice salon too. It was nice, but it wasn't enough. So I expanded too quickly. I should have just left it as and I ended up having to close that side down. But that was a lesson, a costly lesson, because I'm paying rent for both sides. And I'm not going to get a discount. He's not going to give me the landlord is not going to give me a discount because I took both sides. No. So that was one. Okay. And then I was like, okay, if I don't make this a children's salon, what else can I make it? I had so many different ideas, a nail salon, but then who was going to do the nails? Because I'm the nail tech, and nail techs is not easy to come by out here. Then I said, I'm not going to give away the name to my makeup shop. I might end up using it one day. But then I thought, I can use this space as a makeup shop. But it was just expanding too quickly, too fast. My husband said, move to Main Street. That's all I needed to do was move to Main Street. I didn't need to have two locations on Main Street.
Okay. Well, I just want to share the comments that Miss Renee is making. She is coming up. She loved your first location, and yes, the wall in the children's salon was very nice. Yes. So thank you, Renee, for chiming in and joining us this evening. This is Tanika Gillard. I am Naturally Yours. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama.
And this is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives Beauty Studio, coming to you live.
Yes, and we're talking to you tonight about 10 mistakes that we've made in business. And so I'm going to jump on that. Yes, you can expand too fast if you don't have the staff. And yeah, it's nice when you have the flow of the people, your word of mouth is getting out there, and you thinking that you can do it, but you always got to scale it. We always call that counting the cost, making sure that you have everything in order before you jump up to the big. And you talk about your salon spaces. Mine was, okay, I got Naturally Yours. Now I want to do rainbows. I got Cordell Sugar Scrubs. And I had too many businesses going on at one time that I couldn't, as a solopreneur, do them all. And so my son got tired of doing the scrubs and the body butters, but now he wants to do it again. But now we're past that. There's so many people making that. So I'm like, and I just don't have the time. The oils are still doing well. And then rainbows. It's just like, okay, how do you market for Naturally Yours and market for rainbows? It's hard to do. And then, so that's too much scaling for me when it comes to both of those. And so even with rainbows, I'm like, okay, I got to scale back on that because I'm getting too many orders on adult
items,
projects instead of focusing on my children's line. And so it's like, okay, I got to scale back again and do it that way. But let's move on to the next point. So counting the cost before you get in too deep.
The last one on my list, and we'll get into your list, is hire slow, fire fast. Hire slow, fire fast. You want to make sure whoever you hire is a good fit for your space. And then if they're not the right fit, you got to fire them quickly. I'll give you two examples. One, I'm a natural hair care salon. We wear our hair natural. This is it. So at that time, and even still, there is no wig wearing at Alternatives Beauty Studio. However, you are allowed to wear a weave because we do provide that service. But wigs then was a no-no. So I told her when I hired her, you cannot wear wigs here because we don't do wigs here. We are natural hair. She didn't like it. She, at first, of course, at the interview, she's all on board because she wants the job. But as soon as the job was given to her, she wanted to try and switch things up. She had to go. And so that was one. And then there was a second that I hired. I won't get into too much detail because you never know who's watching. But just from the client's feedback, it wasn't a good fit. They were not comfortable with her. So, you have to take what your clients, especially when they're clients for years, how they're feeling about this particular person. They all can't be wrong. So therefore, you have to be quick to say, well, this is not working out. And you say it nicely. You don't have to fire nastily, well, this is not a good fit, and that's hire slowly and fire quickly.
I don't think I've had that issue, to be honest. I had my one worker. So this one day, it was the Easter weekend, and I really needed some help at the shop. So I got 2 referrals, and one stayed with me, and the other one couldn't handle it because the work was coming in so much and so fast, and we had a long day. And the other girl, she just couldn't hang with it, so she fired herself. It was easy as pie. Michelle and I, we worked together for some years until she moved away, and people loved us working together. For me, I don't do children. So if they had a child, she was able to take them, but she also helped me. She was a great assistant, and I can't take nothing away from that. And so, I can't touch that one.
All right. So we did my 5, and we're going to just reiterate the 5 for Tisha was having a proper accountant, having a proper lawyer, know your borough, county, and state requirements. Do not expand too quickly, and hire slow, fire fast. Okay, you are watching The Twinness, and we thank you for coming in. Let's get started with Tanika's. Tanika, one of yours, because I have your list here, hiring the wrong staff, which is kind of similar to what I just said.
Right, hiring the wrong staff. And like I said, I really didn't have that problem, because if they didn't fit, they didn't fit, and they let themselves go. So I didn't have that problem of not having the right. But if, like you said, reiterating, if your staff, if your clients are telling you that this is not working, this is what they do when you're not here, or, then you have to go by what your clients are saying, because they've been with you and you want them to continue to be loyal. So yes.
Lack of professionalism.
Lack of professionalism. I get that a lot of when clients come or refer to me, and they'll say, yeah, and I went to this salon and they were so unprofessional. They didn't show up on time. They had me waiting for 2 hours. They didn't even touch my hair for 5 hours. And then it was just a shampoo and I still had to sit and wait. And I hear all types of stories, of lack of professionalism, eating over my hair when they're doing my hair, talking on the phone, having these conversations that I shouldn't be privy to, arguing with their boyfriend, and then, disappearing for long periods of time while the client is still sitting in the chair. So I hear a lot of horror stories down here, and it's not funny, but it's like, okay, y'all, what are y'all doing? And that's what gives stylists a bad name, not to mention Black businesses. And we've been having this conversation at the shop for a while, why people don't support Black businesses. And sometimes it's because of the lack of professionalism,
Yes. So back to lack of professionalism. We didn't leave it, but showing up 15 minutes early is just showing up on time, So because sometimes your client is there before you. They're there before the 15 minutes, but I give that 15 minutes. Or when you get there, now you have to have your coffee. No, you should have had that before your client got there. When your client is there, they're ready to roll. You should be ready to roll. So, yes, professionalism. Even the way you dress, like I did have a dress code. Now it's just me, but I did have a dress code. I don't want you coming in there looking any kind of a way because you're representing a beauty brand. So you have to look the part. Now, I'm not going to say you have to come in here with stilettos, but because I'm a sneaker wearer, I'm not trying to fall or anything if water spills on the floor. But, you know, come in clean, professional. Here we go again. No wigs for me. That was my thing, was no wigs, you know.
And we differ on the attire, you and I,
Yes.
because you're up north and y'all don't get as hot as we do down here. And even still, you know, because sometimes I'll have my arms are open, but I'll have my smock on. So I'm professional according to me, because as soon as I'm finished with y'all, I'm taking this smock off and I'm going heading back out. It's 102 degrees out here. I'm not trying to be
Gossiping, that's the big deal. And I'm going to get off of lack of professionalism because I think we're standing on that. But gossiping, there's a no gossip in my salon. Now, I don't mind you telling me your stories, or I'll tell some stories or whatever, but there is no gossiping. I'm not going to talk about Naturally Yours salon, you know, because the beauty industry, no matter what you want to say, it's a small industry. So Tisha talks about Tanika salon, it's going to come back to Tisha. So no gossiping. Next.
well, same down here,
Okay.
here.
Okay. So the next one on your list was, now that COVID has happened, this has been reduced. No having the family hanging out in your space.
Yes, sometimes people want to bring their family, and that's still, again, the professional side as well. You know, you have the family sitting there watching every move. Sometimes they get into your space and they're watching, trying to learn while you're working, and that's not professional. And so that can be annoying. You're taking up a lot of space. You're not being serviced. It's just not a good look. And sometimes, as the worker, you know, I've heard this story down here. Someone's getting their hair done, and the stylist has their family member in there eating, talking, family business that she shouldn't have heard, drama and things like that. That is not the place to that's not the place for that. This is a business at the end of the day, and the clients don't want to hear all about that.
So this is a mistake that you made, letting your clients bring their families in?
Well, no, I'm talking about me. Say if I brought you in and you're here talking to me, and we're talking about our kids and what they're doing, you know, and I'm having problems with my kids, Tisha, and I'm braiding her hair, and we're just going on, and the client is sitting in the chair. She's getting an earful of what's going on in our family. That's what I'm talking about.
You're supposed to be speaking to mistakes that you have made in business.
I have not made that mistake. Sorry. Not I have not made that mistake of doing that. At least I hope I haven't.
Okay. No, I have not made that mistake of,
having
my family there and speaking family drama. I've never made that mistake. However, when my children were little, and I would tell, and this goes back to professionalism. When I first opened the salon, my kids were 3, 4, and 5, and I would always tell my husband, it's not professional for me to bring my children to work. You know, even I'm a new business starting out, it's not professional. And that would be like one of the main disagreements, is because, you know, he doesn't have to take the kids with him to work, but I have to take the kids with me to work, and it's not professional. When someone is coming into your space to get their hair done, they want peace and quiet. What if they don't have kids? What if they don't like kids? What if, you know? So fortunately now my kids are 14, 16, and 17. However, that really made me uncomfortable. And I know sometimes you don't have a choice. And at that time I didn't have a choice. But 11 years later, I am grateful that my clients stuck it out and stuck with me and were understanding with me. But that was so unprofessional, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. That is a mistake that I made, but you can't really say it as a mistake because that's what had to be done at the time, but still, it was not professional.
Okay, and I could attest to that because, you know, I had to bring my son and my daughter when they were little, and my daughter's handicapped. And so, no, that wasn't professional. And I would tell my husband the same thing. Like, can you take her with you to work at the airport? Can you take her with you to work? You can't do that. At the same time, that's why entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs. That's why you have a salon. I had a separate space for them in my building, so they had their own room, so they didn't have to interact with the clients. But sometimes it just had to be done.
And but you're talking about 3. I had 3. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I was new here to the Poconos. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anybody. I didn't have babysitter. So like now I'm going to be moving to Delaware. I will be there pretty much, starting from scratch all over again. So let's do your last one was not enough word of mouth marketing.
Not enough marketing, whether it's word of mouth or online social media now, not having enough promotion. So when I first moved out, it was just me in Alabama. So it would be me going, putting flyers out, going to different salons, trying to get my name out, getting word of mouth, and just trying to hit that pavement to get my clientele up. I did a lot of radio broadcasting when I first moved down here. I had to get to know what was going on, what was the space like. I did a lot of the club scene, a lot of promoting at the club on Friday nights and Saturday nights, getting my clientele up. Then a lot of clients coming from the hospital where I worked at, a lot coming from the schools where I worked. And so just making sure that you have some type of marketing in place. And I still have a problem with marketing now. That's still a big problem, especially when it comes to rainbows. Everybody loves them, but trying to find the right person to help me market them in the right way, that is still a challenge for me with that line.
Okay. I can't say that I had a problem marketing because, again, I'm the only one in my area that specializes in natural hair care. However, I must say, I love the beauty supply store. Matter of fact, I was there yesterday and the owner was like, Tisha, you're slacking. I have no more cards for you. And I thought I had some in my car and I did, but they were old ones with the wrong address. So now, Tuesday, I will be there with a nice stack. But he supported me from day one. As soon as I moved over here, 11 years, this man has given me support. As a matter of fact, Renee, if you're still listening,
She
she makes
is.
my oils. And he told me, Tisha, I will sell your oils here. We can come up with, like a figure, like a consignment or whatever. And I can sell my oils right in his beauty supply. So, yes.
Okay, I just want to read a comment from Renee. She says, you do what you have to do with what you have. So talking about bringing our kids to work with us when they were younger. Sorry, I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you, Renee. oh, let me see. I think, yes, I got it. I wanted to say thank you to Renee. She's been making my oils for like ever. And I spoke to Vic at Stroud Beauty, and he was like, Tisha, you can bring your whatever you have, you can bring it here and we'll work something out. I'll give you shelf space to have. And he's marketing for me as well as me marketing, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't had the problem with marketing, but when I first started out, Tanika, I'm gonna tell you, I know Saja's probably not watching, but we did some very late nights and early mornings. My husband wasn't happy. I would be there sometimes until like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, grinding, just trying to get my name out there. And now it's out there. And people know me now from the Natural Hair Showcase. They know me from, I'm sitting down eating dinner and they, oh, I know you. You're Tisha. You're the one who have the beauty shows. And it's just like, people know me. I was just invited to something happening next week. I can't go because it's a Saturday and I'm busy on Saturdays. But I want to give a shout out to Sister Chat and I want to give a shout out to Charmin. Thank you so much, Green. She was watching last week. And she's doing her own thing, blowing up, marketing, getting her stuff together with real estate. And I just love the community out here. So
Okay.
once you get that marketing going, then you got it going. And again, I'm sorry, and then I'm going to stop, but you market yourself. If I go out and my hair is busted all the time, I'm not marketing myself very well. If
I
my
was going to
staff is
say
going
that.
out looking busted, then you're not marketing Alternatives Beauty Studio very well. And that's
Mhm.
where the professionalism comes in as well.
I was going to say that marketing is not just the flyers that you put out, any events that you attend, because now I'm known, they know Naturally Yours. So now when I come with rainbows, they're like, oh, I know you from Naturally Yours.
Uh-huh.
That was at an event at the BJCC. I said, I usually call on behalf of Naturally Yours. Oh, I know Naturally Yours. I know Naturally Yours. I said, but I'm calling on behalf of Rainbows this time. But yes, once you get your name out, and I was going to say that marketing is not just the flyers and stuff. It's how you present yourself to others. And then you have to make sure that you're marketing like, is related to your craft. Like everyone knows Naturally Yours. And so I only do natural hair. One of the girls at the shop, she had to actually look at my license. She thought I was a cosmetologist. I'm a natural hairstylist. I said, hence the name Naturally Yours. I only do natural hair. And then also with Rainbows, her name, my daughter's name is Rain, and we do a hair accessory line, they're bows. So Rainbow. So they are affiliated with one another. So make sure that even with your marketing, that even when you come up with a name, make sure that it's related to whatever your product or service is. That's all I had to say on that.
That's a good sidebar because people want to know, how did I come up with alternatives? Back then, it was like, oh, people could be so stuffy in their, oh, I'm just
Yes.
natural hair care. But no, alternatives is because I do natural hair care as well as I'll do a relaxer or a chemical. The choice is yours. And that's how I came up with the name Alternatives. And I don't know if you remember, we went to Leah Wajid, her hair show in Atlanta. And one of the classes I took, Anita Hill, she was saying how back then we used the phone books. And who's going to look up? I had a few names: Hair Revolution, Experience It, but
Right.
nobody's going to read past the letter C or D. So if you are Hair Revolution, Experience It, nobody's going that far. So I had to think of a name to be right in that top three. So Alternative Beauty Studio. It was Alternative Salon at first, but what's in the name? That's in the name. Alternatives, I do both. I'm not going to make you say, oh, I'm just natural hair. That's all I do. That's all you could get. Nope. I do them both. But I never did a Jerry curl or wave nouveau. I drew the line.
Well, this is Tanika Gillard. I am Naturally Yours in Birmingham, Alabama.
And this is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives Beauty Studio. And you are watching The Twinness. So I think you had one more, and that is know when to fold them.
Know when to fold them. And I just want to point out that we are 2 licensed stylists, so you are getting the information. I'm also a nurse, and she's also, I don't want to say a mortician, but that's so we have a wealth of knowledge. But yes, know when to fold it. Like I said, I have my salon, and it was upstairs, and I had to traipse my babies with me, and I could not carry my baby up the steps. She was getting too big. And so I had to fold because it was no way I was going to be able to do that on that aspect. But in the same regard, if you know that your business is not sustainable, you're not making enough to pay your house notes and your salon notes, you're going to have to give something up. So even though you might not want to, or even if you just stop for a little while and come back, sometimes you need to take a break, refresh, regroup, and come back to it. So, and that's with any business. It's not just with a hair salon, it's with any business. I've even stopped with Rainbows for a while because I just didn't know how to market it, where to go with it. But then you have to find back your purpose and get back to your true self. Also, knowing when to fold it. I had too much going on. I was in school. I was also working as an instructor. Then I have my children. I was like, I'm just overwhelmed. I got to take a break from the salon for at least 3 to 4 months until I'm finished doing what I have to do. And then I'm coming back. So that's when I was able to refer clients out. And I started hearing the horror stories about the lack of professionalism at different salons and just lack of technique and skill and knowledge. Knowing when to fold them or when to take a mental break. Even one of my suite mates was like, I'm taking a sabbatical. I have to take a week off and regroup myself. And you have to know when to just say when, because you don't want your body to break down just trying to chase the money. Sometimes you just got to say, it'll take care of itself.
So know when to fold them. That's kind of similar to hire slow, fire fast. That's kind of similar to a lot of things that we talked about tonight. But yes, know when to fold them. I haven't had that mistake. I made the mistake when I had the children's salon. I really didn't want to give it up. I wanted the both sides, but I had to say this is not working, and I had to give up that side,
Right.
and just keep the kids on the one side and just give up that child children's salon. You know, it's not something I wanted to do, but it was sucking money out of me, out of me, out of me, out of me, and it wasn't producing what I needed it to produce. And
I was gonna
so,
say sometimes our ego could get in the way, like, well,
right,
I got both sides, and but at the same time, it's draining you. It's draining your energy. It's draining your life. It's draining your joy. It's taking
your
away from
finances.
taking away your finances, which of course drains your joy because now you're worried about how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to feed my kids, and it's just taking away the joy of doing hair. Now you're just working just to make the bills and make the ends meet, and it's not pleasurable.
Right. So yeah, you got to know when to fold them. Even for me to downsize, because I was in school for funeral service, and I actually had a celebration. I'm closing the salon. Period. End of story. I'm going to be starting my internship. This, that, and the other. Right. And so I started working. And see, out there, y'all have suites. We don't have suites. It's not allowed out here. Booth rental is not legal out here. Suites is not a thing out here. But I know that certain states do that. I see it in Delaware. I see it in Alabama, obviously, but that's not allowed out here. So I had to downsize, and I'm like, okay, this is my last year of school. This is very intense. I'm gonna have to take state exams and this, that, and the other. So I said, I'm quitting. I'm closing up the shop. That's it. And I got to give a shout out to Kirsten. I know she's probably not watching, but I did have a space in her salon because my clients were like, well, where are you going? What are we gonna do? This, that, and the other. So I ended up referring people, but then I ended up reopening the salon, and I reopened the very first location where I was. I called my attorney, who is real estate, and I said, what do you have? This is my last year of school. I just need something small. The space I have, it's 3 chairs, but I have 2. I didn't overcrowd it. I have 2 chairs there, but it fits 3. And my rent is so low because we've known each other 11 years. My real estate attorney and I, 11 years. He didn't try and rip me off. Matter of fact, when I moved to Delaware, I'm still going to keep the salon because I can afford that. In one day's worth of work, is my rent is paid. So
did you see the comment from Mr. Don?
I did. I put him up.
Oh, okay.
So know when to fold them. So I went from the bigger salon to a very small salon. I think it's only 500 square feet or 750. It's 500 square feet, and so I.
Some people like that intimate space. They like that smaller setting. They don't need the big crowd and the large salon. They don't need all of that. They just want some place that's serene and quiet where they can enjoy, clean and enjoy the atmosphere. It's their getaway.
It's their getaway. And that's why I said I felt bad bringing my children with me to work because people don't want to, it's like going for a massage and then you have these kids outside running around and you can't get your peace, So again, this is Tisha McDonald's Alternatives Beauty Studio. These are the 10 mistakes that we've made in the years combined, and I'm sure we have more, but these are the 5 from me and 5 from Tanika that we can give you tonight.
And this is Tanika Gillard. I am Nikki. I am naturallyyours.com. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for sharing and catching the replay. And we'll be talking to you again very soon. That's all I got.
You could look me up on www.alternativesbeauty.studio. There I have an online store. You can purchase whatever you need from that online store. Also, October 18th and 19th, Tanika and I will be guest speakers teaching. I will be teaching feed-in cornrows, and Tanika will be teaching everything crochet.
Yeah, so if y'all have asked, about any courses and things like that, y'all need to jump on board, get y'all a ticket for that, because there's going to be so many vendors, so many subjects being covered there. It's going to be great. But y'all have a great night.
Good night. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your comments. Please share if you don't mind. I'm going to be sharing. Hope you share. See you soon.